Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between and beyond, welcome back to Campton Zoo. So today we are starting the episode 9, which is quite a big deal because we are only one episode away from episode 10, which I think is kind of a milestone. We are also almost reaching 100 subscribers, so that's also quite a milestone, which I'm just repeating myself, but you know what I mean. So do you remember when, I can't remember which episode that was, but I told you in some previous episode that I was thinking of this huge build, which would be probably the biggest build in the series, like the whole series, and I was thinking of building it for a specific milestone, which was actually 100 subscribers and 10 episodes, which probably we're going to reach at this point because this one is the 9th episode, and at the moment when I'm recording this we currently are at 92 subscribers, so we are only 8 subscribers away from 100, which kind of makes me think that we are probably going to reach it by the time the episode 10 is going to be out, which actually worries me because I'm actually debating whether or not I should create this big build, because I'm afraid that I won't make it in time if I were to just upload it as my usual schedule, which is just 10 days away from the previous episode, and I'm a bit afraid that I won't be able to just make it in time, but at the same time I'm worried that I'm gonna let you guys down because these two milestones won't really match together ever in the future because they already happened. So I think that these are two like really specific milestones, really specific moments, because we literally just started the series 2 months ago. That's the first series on my channel. These are the first videos ever on my channel. So I think we are really like, I don't want to say intimate because this word has, you know, different meanings to different people, but what I mean is that I think this channel, I don't know how big it will get, of course, like I cannot predict that, but there are almost like 100 people that decided to subscribe to this channel, which I'm really thankful for. I will call that a small community, really like private, maybe, if I may say so, intimate, because you know we can just literally just talk to each other in the comments and pretty much no one sees that, you know, so we can literally just be talking about what we are doing during the day or just like some random stuff. And with bigger channels or huge channels, there's no way you can do that, right? So I think because it's a really specific milestone for a new channel, I would really like to make it special, which would mean that I really want to create this big build, but at the same time I just don't want to create this, I don't know how long of a gap between 2 episodes. And what I was thinking of is just releasing the first part by the time that it would be the time for a normal episode, which is 10 days usually. So what I was thinking of is that I would just create like separate parts, which we've done with episode 8, but fortunately for episode 8 I was able to squeeze both parts into the timeline of a full episode. I don't know if that makes sense, but I usually release a new video every like 10 days. That's kind of my schedule, and that's a safe amount of time for me to just create the whole thing and still make it on time. But I'm afraid with this huge build, I'm not sure how long it will take. I just have this idea in my head, and what I was thinking of is maybe I would just divide this whole build into a couple of episodes, so that I have more time if I actually end up struggling with making it on time, but also you guys will get the video every 10 days. Unfortunately, I cannot guarantee you that you will get the whole thing within 10 days, no matter how many parts there are, because I have no idea how long it will take, as I said. But if we can agree on that, that will make this whole thing way easier. And I think actually for this kind of milestone, I think this kind of a change of the whole schedule and how we upload things would be kind of a new thing, and maybe different enough that it will feel special, because first of all we've never done this big of a build, and second of all we've never spent several episodes on one thing. Of course we've done the 2-part episode with episode 8, but that was still within one episode, just 2 videos. And for this big thing I was actually thinking of splitting all of the habitats, all of the, let's say, specific parts of the whole build, and just put them into separate episodes, so that if we end up having several habitats, then we end up having several episodes of just this one whole build, because it will be big and I plan on adding a lot of stuff there. And to be honest, I don't think I will be able to make even half of it in 10 days. So I think that would be the safest option, to just build some of it for the first episode in 10 days. Then in the next 10 days you will see some more of it. I cannot actually tell you how much of it will just, end up being what it is. But I think that would be safest option, both for me and for you, so that you still get the content. And for me it will be easier because I can still not worry about making everything in time and like just stressing about this thing, because it will actually involve a lot of time and work from me. And I still, have life out of the YouTube. I cannot just work full time on YouTube, so that's not an option for me. And as you can see, we are building the aviary, which is kind of a controversial topic when it comes to the Planet Zoo community, because so many people are expecting birds and also fish, or just ocean creatures like water creatures that live just permanently underwater, to be added into the Planet Zoo. And to be honest, I've been to many European zoos and they all have aviaries, so I was like, even though we actually don't have birds that fly in Planet Zoo, we still have some bird species which are still birds, like that's obvious, but like, why don't we just take the ones that we already have in the game and just put them in the aviary? Of course they're not gonna like fly around, so that's actually even easier thing to make in Planet Zoo, because you don't have to worry about actually creating barriers for them so that they just don't fly away. It's not a case in the Planet Zoo, so I think that's even easier to make. But yeah, because all of the European zoo pretty much have aviaries, I just decided that we are going to make one, even though it doesn't really serve any purpose. These birds can just walk in a normal habitat that we've done so far, which doesn't have any like chain links or whatever they call, you know, like no barriers for them to just fly away. They just don't fly. But I just decided that I'm going to make it just as an idea that there's an aviary and use the fact that they just don't fly to my advantage. So I've done the walkthrough aviary, which consists of 4 habitats. The one that you're seeing right now is the greater flamingo and the red-crowned crane habitat, which pretty much makes up half of this whole space. It ended up being bigger than I wanted it to be, so I just added way more birds so that it just doesn't seem so huge. And to be honest, there are no other birds that really require that much space. We only have one other habitat that probably needs a lot of space because of the fact that the other birds are so active, and that habitat is the Common Ostrich and Emu habitat, and I would like it to be a bit bigger. I just ended up placing less birds there so that they still have space for them to just, you know, walk around. But the other 2 habitats, which is just the Indian Peafowl and the Southern Cassowary, they just don't need that much space, and the Indian Peafowls can just walk around the path, and that's what I ended up going with. Their whole habitat, it is literally the area that people just walk around, and the Southern Cassowary doesn't need that much space. They are not really that active and they are pretty solitary. They just don't like, you know, being exposed to anything, so they just like being hidden and just stay in one place. And before we get to other habitats, when it comes to the inspiration for this whole build, which is the aviary, there's not much of it. As I said before, a lot of European zoos have aviaries, so I just decided that it would be good to just have one, and literally they all pretty much look alike. They just have some sort of material on top of the whole thing so that these birds cannot fly away, or maybe they are just, you know, behind a glass or chain link, as it is in this case. So as you can see, I incorporated the whole Indian Peafowl habitat into the area that people just can walk around. Of course, there's this like island that only the peafowls can access. I mean, if the humans were to just step on there, they will be able to, of course, but like the NPCs in the Planet Zoo cannot just go outside the path, so that's good. So these peafowls can have some like privacy to some extent, I'm not sure, but they don't really like care much. But they just can like lay down and, you know, just not give a damn about anything. Now we're building the habitat for Southern Cassowaries, and it's pretty much just around the edge because, as I said, they don't need much space, and I decided to give them this area behind this stone wall that we just created. So they are kind of secluded, they have some privacy because these are quite shy and solitary animals. They don't like much thing going around. They don't like much stuff going around. They just want to be, you know, on their own, just minding their own business. So that's why I went with it. It looks quite like intimate and hidden and like mysterious, and that's what I was trying to get from it. It's just like mystic and just out there, like hidden from everything, and I actually like it. It looks really nice, and I would love to see something like that in real life. And now what we have left is the common ostrich and emu habitat, which is pretty much this whole land left for us to just make something out of it. And I just decided to add this path island, or whatever you want to call it, just this area that people just can sit or stand or just, you know, hang around and watch these animals just move around and just, you know, exist and going about their days. And the rest of it just ended up being one blank space that you just had to fill in, you know, like just fill in the blanks, and that's what I ended up doing. And as I said, there's not much thought about this one, but I still like it, as I said, and the other ones I think are more interesting. This one looks kind of like an afterthought, and I won't lie, it was kind of an afterthought. That was the only one that I didn't have a specific idea for it. The other ones were pretty obvious to what to do with them, because of course the cranes and flamingos, they just don't move much and they like, you know, water and shallow water areas, so that was obviously the idea for their habitat. And for the Indian Peafowls, I just wanted to go with the fact that they can just exist next to all of the guests and just walk next to them and exist pretty much like within the whole place. And for the Southern Cassowaries, I of course wanted to make it more secluded and private, so these were like obvious ones. I had the ideas for them, but for the ostriches and emus, that was a bit more tricky, but I still like it. It's not looking bad. I actually like it because I've never done an aviary. That was the first time I've done something like this. Of course, it doesn't really have any sense because they cannot fly away, but still it's an actual place that exists in real life for birds. And I just wanted to add it since we are building like European zoo inspired zoo. And they all pretty much have aviaries, as I said before, so that was like a must have, and I just wanted to make it like an actual one which has some sort of like barriers for these birds to not just fly away, because they just would, and well, we cannot tell if that would be a good thing or a bad thing for them. But you know, that's the thing, that's how it looks like, and I just wanted to make it as it is in real life, and I think I succeeded at that. As I said, I've never done one, so I'm happy with it. You can probably make way better ones, but for what I know and for what I have experience with, which when it comes to the aviaries I have known, I'm pretty happy with what I was able to achieve. hope you guys enjoyed this one, and let me know what you think of the idea for the 10th episode. If you like that idea, I will probably go with it, even if you don't, sorry. But that will be way easier for me. We can just create a different habitat that I will be able to make in time, but then we will lose both of these milestones that we are almost reaching. So I think we have to make something special, which will be really cool, but we have to think of the way to approach it so that both me and you guys are happy with the idea and how it's going to go. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.